When it comes to living life, there's a lot to overthink, but I don't ever have to overthink my water. I've been drinking Smart Water for years and truly love its pure, crisp taste. It's vapor distilled through a process inspired by clouds. I love chic branding, and Smart Water's sleek bottle shape makes it the perfect accessory for any day bag, workout tote, or backpack. Smart Water is the smart way to hydrate no matter what you have going on in your life. Life is full of choices. Smart Water is a simple one. Visit drinksmartwater.com to learn more.
Hear that? Yeah, that's the sound of you relaxing, because now you're managing diabetes with the Freestyle Libre 3 system. You get to know your glucose levels and where it's headed. Manage your diabetes with more confidence with the Freestyle Libre 3 system. Ready to learn more about the #1 prescribed CGM in the U.S.? Visit freestylelibre.us to learn more. Based on retail sales data for patients' last filled prescription by manufacturer. Refer to the FLAIR NL4 study published in BMJ Open Diabetes Research and Care 2019. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Kroger brand products exclusively at Baker's have the great taste you'll celebrate. That's why over 40 million people choose Kroger brand products, making them a true crowd pleaser. And with quality guaranteed, you'll love your choice or get your money back. Score Kroger brand products with savings you can cheer for and great taste you can't resist. Baker's, fresh for everyone.
Welcome back to Currently with Curator, where Rachel Zoe shares her latest style obsessions, all of which you can access through her shopping community, Curator. Spring is around the corner, which means it's the perfect time to sign up for our newest curation and upgrade your style for the season. Rachel Zoe selected every item in the spring curation to help make all of your upcoming travel plans so chic. There's a black and white tote that's perfect for day trips, a silky eye mask to help you get your beauty sleep, and a restorative serum. Plus, you can choose between white or yellow gold hoops, as well as between a black eyeliner or mascara, both of which elevate any makeup look. This curation is valued at over $400, but when you sign up for a seasonal membership and use code SPRING25, you'll get it for only $100. These boxes are in limited supply, so head to Curator.com, that's CURATEUR.com to claim this offer now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Zoe, and you're listening to Climbing in Heels. This show is all about celebrating the most extraordinary superwomen who will be sharing their incredible journeys to the top, all while staying glamorous. Today with me, we have my favorite duo of besties, the incredible Clea Shearer and Joanna Teplin from The Home Edit. Together, we speak about the beginnings of their insane organizational skills, like actually insane, moving to Nashville and why, both for their husbands, and meeting on a blind friendship date that turned into their most amazing business. The girls also talk about when they have their moments where they need to mentally shut off, relax, and of course, recuperate. But of course, they're still together during absolute silence. First of all, I'm so happy to see you both and speak to you both. And, you know, you're such dear friends. I obviously know how you guys came together. I don't want to make you tell your whole life story, but what I do want to talk about, how in God's name did you get here? It's funny because I remember meeting you for the first time and hearing about you from a few friends. And I obviously fell in love with you guys because you were so funny and so silly and so passionate, right? And for me, the magnet that I have to certain people are when they have a passion for what they do, no matter what it is. If you like are smiling and excited and put your whole self into it, to me, that's the draw, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think with both of you, it's very clear. This is your passion. All you have to do is spend 10 minutes with you in any closet or anywhere. And the OCD really kicks in high. And so
Sure.
I want to kind of understand a little bit, who were you as a kid? Like, were you always like cleaning up? So
Sure.
were both of you like that or not really?
This is actually my favorite question. Joanna's smiling because she knows how, like, truly this just is, it hits to my soul. Because the most amazing thing is that but Joanna went through a real slob period that is just, it's like favorite thing for
Loves
people
it.
to ask.
She
I
lives
love
for this
it.
question. I think she pays people to ask this
I
question.
literally am like, if you could just ask this question, because I'll just, you know what? Here's what we'll do. I'll tell my story, and Joanna can explain
But
herself.
it's beautiful. Can I tell you why? Because it shows that there's hope for people that
true.
aren't like Clea. So Clea, tell me, so you were born like this.
So I was born this way, and I now use my powers for good and not evil. But when I was a kid, I would spend an inordinate amount of time in my room making everything just so. I would move furniture around. Like what I would do on like spring break. I remember the first day of spring break. I was like, well, this room is my home. Like this is my apartment. And I am going to make sure that my bed is made every morning, that everything is perfect. And I was going to set up my little, my reading station, whatever it was. Back in the day, we didn't have iPad. Like this was like what I did in my room was my entertainment.
And don't you just want to take the electronics for our kids so they do the same?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
And Stella, if she were here, she'd be like, oh, but like I do that just on Roblox. Like I like make a nice room, but I'm like, okay, that's not the point. But there was a portion of my younger life before my mother remarried and then my stepdad went to adopt me.
Yep.
But my mother was a single mom until I was in, I would say, the fourth grade, fourth or fifth grade.
That's pretty pivotal.
It was pivotal. And my mom was the hardest worker ever. She inherited my grandfather's business. And even when she just retired a few years ago, my dad has been like begging her to not, but it's who she is. And everyone in my family, Joanna and I talk about this a lot. Every single person in my family is an entrepreneur. No one ended up working for a company. Everyone worked for themselves. And so that's what I witnessed growing up. And that's, I think where my footsteps kind of fell in.
So your kids, do your kids love it? Do they reject it? Do you think it's just you're born with it or not? Because I have one that is and one that isn't.
It's really interesting. And I find myself being hopeful and frustrated at the same time because I don't think that there's like a perfect, no one has like come out blazing here. So, which is frustrating. My daughter has a lot of things where she will be like, this bothers me.
Yeah.
Like if something isn't in place or this is so satisfying or like, doesn't it kill you if? And I'm like, yes, I see all those things. Why is there laundry on the floor? Like, why? Like, what about your skincare? Like, why is it on? Can you put it away? So it's like, I appreciate that about her. My son he's not bothered by anything. Sutton will wear the same 3 shirts for the rest of his life because he wears them. They're clean, folded, put back. So his things are less chaotic because he's just simple.
100%.
And Stella has to try everything on and then like leaves it everywhere. I think part of the issue is my kids have never had 1 million toys or 1 million things like that. I've always had it pretty pared down. But with clothing, what are you going to do? They have to get dressed.
God help us if I had a daughter.
God help us.
Just
right,
God help
exactly.
us. I'd be in jail because I'd be broke.
You would be living on the street, but your daughter would be the best dressed in like head to toe Gucci.
But I'd be broke on the street 100%.
And I'm about to be because Stella she's grown into like an actual taste for clothing, which is...
I'm so sorry.
Clothing is expensive. It's so frustrating. Like Target is a done day. Like that is not happening anymore. So yes, things actually cost money and it's, very stressful. Thank God Sutton doesn't care like at all.
Yeah, it has to balance out.
But he'll save money there.
Stella she always cared about her outfits. The very first time Joanna came over with her kids, Marlo, who, Joanna has an older boy, younger daughter.
Right.
And so Marlo came over like frumpily stumpkins. She was just like in like Miles clothes.
Right.
Like I feel like she was
wasn't, but she was dressed like me in like leggings and a sweatshirt.
I was like probably like a cute normal girl. Like
she was in like
she just wasn't in like fancy
sweatpants.
Right.
She was in like sweatpants and tennis shoes and like whatever.
Sure.
And
she was also 2. Like, let's be clear, she was 2.
Stella took Marlo by the hand, led her into her closet, into her room.
I was like, come friend. Come.
Yes. She was like, let me help you. And she put Marlo in like a ball gown.
Of course.
And Marlo came out like Cinderella when she like spins around and it like sparkles. Marlo was a changed person. She was like, Mom, like what have you been holding out on me?
That's what I did.
I only wore the same
friends.
dress, this Old Navy dress that I had to buy in every color until the size ran out. We bought it year after year, 6 years in a row. She only wore the one dress because it was like basically the one that Stella showed her.
But see, that's the thing. I do think 90% of who we are, if not more, is how we're born, right? Because I was like Stella, and most of my friends were like Marlo. And by the way, still are. but they still like enjoy getting dressed up, but they also in their most happiest self are like, they still look great, they still look cute, but they're casual. And I think it really does. I think we look at our kids when they're born and go, who are you going to be? And I had so many wise people tell me like, they're this, they're what you're looking at. And when I think about it, my kids are literally exactly as they were born. Okay, so Joanna, you grew up and you were a neat freak and then became a slob and then became a neat freak.
Yeah, no, I started off really, really organized, and I always loved moving furniture around. Like when my mom would come home, I had to like move beds myself. I was really into how things look. I also, Clea, you probably don't even know this one, so just stand back on this one. But I used to collect, like my grandmother would take me shopping in California. I grew up in North Carolina. And I remember coming to California every Christmas break, and we would go shopping, and we would go to like Benetton and Gap, like right in the, like all of those things. And I would collect the bags that the clothes would come in, and I would hang them on my walls. And so I would decorate all the walls with all the shopping bags.
And this was like, well, by the way, that's dope, by the way. You should do that again.
Clea's a gas.
I know.
I need to see what it looked like.
It was fabulous. It was like an art installation.
That's what I mean. It sounds very much like something at the Met. Like I'm super into this right now.
It was like pop art before I knew what that was. But anyway, I had this in me. So I was like very particular about how things would go. And I would always try to rearrange furniture. And then I took a sharp left turn in high school and was a complete slob. Cheerleading clothes, broad in the back of my trunk of my car, like everything on the floor, absolute total disaster. College, close to the ceiling, the biggest mess. And then I turned a corner, I guess, God, I don't even know when, sometime after college. And I was like, I need everything back in order. I just can't live like this. And I just became obsessed. And especially when I was pregnant and after I had Miles, my son, just perfecting every closet and every inch matters. And like how it makes me feel sane and calm and in control and all these things that I didn't have at, having a newborn or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've never looked back.
It's almost like we do the same thing, honestly, but in a different, a different angle, like a different facet of the industry, right? Like there are so many similarities, right? And so for me, it's like that getting dressed thing. It's a little bit like, so you guys, your peace of mind is like everything in order, right? And I definitely have a lot of that. I do have this part of me that if I have 5 events in a week, you cannot imagine what my bathroom and bathtub look like. There's like gowns and tulle and jewelry, like it's just everywhere. So a lot of it for me is like a time thing and like just being like, but I will say that like for me, even if it takes me 5 minutes to get ready or whatever, I can't really like function until I feel like I was telling someone the other day, like I had COVID once. It took me 2.5 years to get, I got it. They said, so what did you do like when you had COVID? Did you get dressed? And I was like, I was in different rotating black robes. My skin hurt so bad that like everything hurt. But I had a full cat eye, lash, and a lip stain.
Oh my God.
Because I couldn't.
Yeah.
It was like I just couldn't. I twirled my hair. Nobody was seeing me. Like nobody, not even Roger. I locked everyone out.
Clea and I always say this about organizing, and I have a feeling, and this is sort of maybe how you feel. I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but when we're organizing, something just has to click into place. And once it's in the right spot, it's just like, this is right. This is how the space has always been intended to be.
It's true.
And I don't know if you're like that with, I'm not like that with clothes or outfit or anything. I know nothing about any of those.
It is.
But I can imagine for you, maybe that's how it feels.
And especially when you're styling somebody else, because you look at it like the way you guys look at a room and a space, right?
And it like clicks.
Yes, 100%.
But you know what, Rachel? I understand so much. I mean, I laugh about the perfect wing on the eye just because I actually don't know how to do that. But I think about during chemo where every single person in my life is like, oh, you have a pass. Like you're like live in your pajamas, live. And I kept trying to explain, and then I stopped trying to explain that I was literally doing it for myself, like putting on makeup.
Of course.
And I was already, like you're already, like when you have COVID or whatever. And I had COVID during cancer, which is like, that's rude.
And I want to touch on that because we've talked about this and I've mentioned it a few times in different things. I come from a family of cancer and I also have multiple friends that have gone through it. Obviously, you being one of them, bravest warrior bitch I ever knew. I will say that the hardest thing I have seen for women is not feeling like a woman and not looking like a woman, and not when you do take everything off and we do get stripped down, it's that part of it that makes you feel a certain way. And I think to your point, it was truthfully, in this podcast is not about me, so I don't want to turn it on me. But actually, when I quit styling right after 9/11, I quit styling because I felt like it was very superficial. And I said, I don't want to do this anymore. It means nothing compared to like what these social workers, the doctors, the frontline workers and everything. And I was like quitting, and I turned down all these jobs for like 3 to 6 months. It was crazy. And my father tried to get me back in. And then there's this doctor friend of mine. She's actually a brain surgeon. And she was down at the hospitals, during 9/11 for that whole months. And she said, oh my God, tell me something about fashion. Tell me something. And I said, I quit. And she said, what do you mean you quit? And I said, I quit. I don't want to do it anymore. It doesn't mean anything. It's stupid. I'm just like, it's superficial. And she's like, you've lost your mind. And I said, no, really, like what you do matters. What I do doesn't. And she was like, okay, sit down. And she literally sat me down and explained to me why it matters, and that how much like my book or the things that I do and the way that I helped women kind of want to get out of bed sometimes and do those things. And she talked me through this, and she's like, you're the reason I like want to leave work and like go do this and like make myself feel like a girl. And so it was at that point I shifted literally like the purpose of what I was doing and started to sort of try to go in all these different directions that were really focused on helping women live their best lives and be their most confident selves.
That makes so much sense. And I think, you inspire me 100%. And then I'm like, it almost makes me giggle because I'm like, who am I to be inspired by Rachel Zoe? Like, I'm not going to have a chance at that, Like, Joanna and I will leave every time and be like, there's no one more glamorous than Rachel in this world. But you give zero people. Maybe Molly too. Like, I feel like you guys both, I can't think of more beautiful people.
Molly can do the sweats real cute. She can do workout clothes all day and still be super cute.
And you just wouldn't? Like, you just wouldn't.
Because I couldn't look cute.
You would look cute, but I will genuinely, like, I can literally see you in pajamas before I could see you.
It's not who you are.
Right. It's just not who you are as a person.
I feel like I ran out into the world naked.
I think that's right. I think you'd rather be naked. I actually think you'd rather be naked.
You'd rather be naked than in sweats, I feel like.
But it is true. You teach people and you inspire people to be their, I think, most beautiful, inner glamorous self. Like you don't necessarily need.
It doesn't have to be what you wear.
No. Right. It doesn't. But I do feel that way about you. And it's so genuine and it's so wild because it's not just like your public persona. That is who you are as a person.
Yeah. I fully agree with that.
Don't you own your own insanity, you guys? Don't you just say like, I am who I am? And it's like you get to an age and a point in your life where you just go, okay.
Whatever. I know. It is. I am who I am.
And it's easier to accept friends for who they are too. I mean, I honestly think that's what makes the friendship Clea and I have so powerful is like, we both know who the other person is.
100.
So
you
meet them where they are.
That's exactly right.
So you guys, I have a question. So you obviously, so give me like the 2-minute of how you came together just for our listeners who don't know, because I think, and then I want to talk about this afterwards. I do want to talk about the copycat effect.
Yes. Oh, I could talk on that for a long time.
I do want to talk about that because obviously like we've all been through that, but I do want to talk about it because I'm seeing them coming in numbers and I'm very sensitive to it with you guys. I'm very like, so I want to talk about how you came together because it was very unlikely.
It is very unlikely. I will give the very bird's eye view of it. So I moved to Nashville in 2015. So it's coming up on 8 years. Joanna moved a year and a half prior.
And you moved there why? Just randomly? Your husband? Your
husbands? Both of us.
Both of us
moved from California to Nashville, sight unseen.
Wow.
I flew in for 36 hours to buy a house and then flew right back to LA. Like we had never stepped foot.
You guys are my heroes.
And I had never come here until I moved here.
Same.
That's I came to buy a house thing ever. Because Roger at one point said, we have to move to Florida for a year. I said, I'll meet you in LA. We lived apart for a year. We left New York. He went to Florida for a year and I went to LA and then he came a year later. I was like, love you.
Joanna and I both think it's insane that we said yes.
It is.
Insane.
But listen, people do it all day, every day. I'm not the norm,
it was meant
actually.
To be.
Yes.
It was obviously meant to be. We always say that we moved for our husband's jobs and now everyone's staying for our jobs. Mm-hmm. So, but Joanna and I met through a mutual friend who basically put us in a blind friendship date together to go to lunch. Joanna was slightly reluctant to go to lunch with me because she did not want a business partner. And Leah kind of pitched it as, you guys both want to start an organizing company.
Sure.
We both told Leah this, which is so random, right? Like who wants to start an well, now everyone does, but who wants to start an organizing company? And so she was like, oh, I have these two friends who both want the same thing. Joanna was hesitant, but we sat down and we got up after 4 hours of lunch as business partners. And that very same day, that evening, actually, we came up with our name, our logo, we got our domain, our social handles. We started filling out paperwork. We opened up bank accounts together that week. It was crazy. No one should do that, but it worked.
And how many years is this now?
It'll be 8 years in August.
7.5.
Jesus Christ, you guys. That's literally crazy. And it's crazy for so many reasons because, look, you guys, girls are tough, right? Like, let's be real. Girls are tough. We've all had tough girls. We've had amazing girls, right? But I think it's funny because some people say, how's your husband your business partner? And I think that's insane. But when I think about it, I think about, I'm like, who could I be partners with? Honestly, probably Emmy. Probably Mary Elizabeth could be my business partner, right? Like, the only person I might not want to like assassinate after first week. The fact that you guys are still this inseparable, because I see you actually like offline, not working, and you guys are like an old married couple, honestly.
We really are. We literally are. Again, it's 100%. Like, it goes back to what we said with you. Like, I think all three of us, we don't really, our public persona and private persona is actually the same thing.
Yes,
it's just the same thing. We just don't have the patience, I think, to be anyone else.
Yes.
Or the energy.
We just are who we are. And Joanna and I, it is the craziest thing in my life that we are still just this same exact way. I don't remember if we told you or not, but the house that I'm building, Joanna's building a house around the corner for me. So we're actually, everyone thinks we live together, but now we're basically, it's the most Clea and Joanna thing. It's the most Clea and Joanna thing we could do. We're building homes basically next to each other, which is psychotic.
Yeah.
But
it's
whatever.
not though.
Like, we spend all of our life together.
That's
anyway.
what I mean.
I know. We just need to be together, like, basically at all times.
I think that's literally the greatest and cutest thing ever. I have a question. Do you guys have sisters?
I have a Joanna sister. Does. I don't. I have a brother.
Are you super close with your sister or no?
You know what? I am in the sense that she is the sweetest, the most
But you're
kind,
very different.
Far nicer than me. Very different. Yeah.
Oh, stop. But what is nicer than you? Stop it.
No, there are a few things. Yeah.
But by the way,
she's a lot nicer than me.
I say that about my sister. My sister's like candy. She's like candy sugar next to me. And everyone's like, I'm like, please trust. I look like an asshole next to her.
Joanna's sister's very sweet.
But I think that's also, but you don't, Clea.
I don't have a sister. So I'd say Joanna's the closest
your sister.
thing.
Yeah. Because
it's funny because I always say that we talk like sisters or siblings. And then some people will be like, oh, you must not have a sister. Because Joanna and I don't fight. We don't fight. People think we're fighting, but that's just the way we talk.
But that's my point. But so that is an actual sister thing. Like Jen Meyer and Sarah Foster are like that.
Totally.
They are like sisters because my sister is my safe person, right? Who I can like scream my head off at her for like 60 seconds and like be like, what are we eating? And then like, or sit in the same room for 2 hours and not say a word. And like, no one's pissy about it. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I do find you have that relationship. Like
we do.
Like you'll tell each other if what you're wearing is fucking hideous. Like I guess what I'm saying is there aren't walls between you. And I think that's the difference between a friend and a sister.
That's
you don't have to protect what you're saying. You don't have to filter. How about that?
It is shocking to Joanna that like when I was in treatment specifically, because you know me, I'm an Energizer bunny. I'm a big extrovert.
You're an insane person.
I love being around people. It like gives me energy. It gives me life. And when I was in treatment, I told Joanna there were a few times I was like, I'm really tired. Like, I don't know if I can hang out with this person. Like I went for dinner and I got tired. And first of all, Joanna's like, welcome. Thank you.
I'm tired.
She was like, this is great for me. Yeah. But she also was so shocked. She's like, how can you have a friend that depletes you? Like, how can you have a relationship with someone where you can't just not speak?
Right.
Like and because with Joanna, she'll be like, I don't want to wear you out. Like when I was tired or whatever.
Sure.
And I was like, you don't wear me out.
Right.
I was like, you can sit there and I literally don't have to talk to you.
Yeah.
And she's so shook that like anyone in my life isn't that.
Right.
But it's true. Yeah. It's like Joanna is a special person in my life. I think I have too many people in general, but because Joanna's like, I only have 3 friends and I can do that with all of them.
For me, I need to be around people that I tell Clea, this is like the utmost compliment, but it's like, you don't count.
It's
like
true.
Your friend.
Sure.
I only want to be around people that don't count. That I can be 1,000% myself. I can sit there quiet or not. We can talk, we can laugh. or just ignore each other. Like whatever that is.
I love that. When someone's just exceptionally good at what they do, it could be a waiter, a chef, a stylist, or a doctor. You know you're in good hands. When you find the right doctor, you can just feel it. You feel heard and you feel immediately at ease. So many times at a doctor's office, I've felt rushed or like they were genuinely not taking the time to hear my concerns. It honestly shouldn't be too much to ask to be the center of attention at your own doctor's appointment. On ZocDoc, finding the doctor that's right for you is absolutely seamless. The quality care you need is just a few taps away in the ZocDoc app. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them and treat almost every condition under the sun. No more doctor roulette or scouring the internet for questionable reviews. With ZocDoc, you have a trusted guide to connect you to your favorite doctor you haven't even met yet. Millions of people use ZocDoc's free app to find and book a doctor in their neighborhood who's patient-reviewed and fits their needs and schedule just right. Go to ZocDoc.com/Zoe and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/Zoe. ZocDoc.com/Zoe. So Home Edit, we have like the show, we have the products, we have the like, I wish there was 600 of you. Like, I wish one of you could just live in my guest room so I could live this organized life. It's funny because anytime I meet someone and they're like, oh yeah, you know, we have this business where we like go into people's homes and we like, I go like the Home Edit. And listen, there can't be one stylist, there can't be one hair, like there can't be one of anything, right? And there is the old thing that, you know, my team used to say, well, imitation's the best form of flattery. I'm like, why does that not help me here?
Doesn't help me.
It doesn't help, right? So I think I like to talk about this because in every journey to the top, there are challenges, right? And things that concern you when you go to sleep at night or wake up in the morning, you know, things that get under your skin.
Well, I will say this, and Joanna might have a different answer, but I think that things used to get under our skin way more than it does now.
Well,
I think that, and I think that's normal, right?
Yes.
Like you get to a point, we had to center ourselves in saying, okay, we have multiple books out, we have multiple seasons of a show, we have a very public Instagram account, we have launched 1,000 ships, and we've given them the tool. We've given everyone the tools. We've given everyone what we do and the way we do it. So we can't really be upset that people have taken those tools and used them to create businesses.
And truly, if we can inspire, you know, there's just what you, I think, also realize is that there's so much room for everyone in this world. It's just, you know, if we can inspire, especially, you know, female entrepreneurs to come out, do an organizing business, like fabulous. You know,
and a lot of people come up to us and they say, like,
I started doing this because of you.
And I actually think that when I
think that's a beautiful
huge compliment.
thing.
To me, it's a huge compliment. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So proud of you. That's incredible. So I feel like all of that is really good. And I think everyone's different. When Joanna and I first started an organizing company, the Home Edit, we looked at all the other professional organizers who were doing things very differently. And then we looked at, you know, someone like Marie Kondo, who was also doing it very differently.
Of course.
And
who now apparently came out that she's a slob.
I know. I was like, Marie. So, but again, I think that she's just going through a Joanna. I think she'll be back. I think she'll be back. She'll be back.
Hormonal. No, just kidding.
Totally. Right. I'm like, she'll be back. But I think that from our perspective, we were like, okay, we sit here and we want to try and do something that is different. And that is how we ended up with, again, like no one was making cursive labels back then. Like that was silly. Everyone was using the label maker or something practical. We were like, we want to just have a signature. We want to have a calling card that represents us. And again, that's totally fine. Right now, I can't say if I was starting an organizing business, I wouldn't look at the two of us and be like, okay, let me find a partner that I really like. Let me like try and do something cool on Instagram. Let me, you know, I get it. We created a model.
You emulate what you see, you know, and I mean, again, I think we've all been so lucky to be inspired by people to create, for us to create something, a new version of it. And then to, hopefully pass the torch on to the next generation that does it even better.
Joanna, we're old. Like, we're getting up there. We're talking about climbing in heels.
Do you know what?
Like, climbing in Lululemon.
I know, I'm like climbing in tennis shoes. Seriously. Barely. I had slippers on.
Wait, was one of you barefoot at Baby to Baby at the gala? I feel like Joanna
it would never be me.
I had to take my shoes off at one point because it hurt so much.
I'd rather be bleeding.
I do want to understand a little bit about the go forward for Home Edit. So Home Edit is larger than life. I think everybody knows it. For me, the biggest challenge of trying to grow my styling business when I was styling full time was that they all wanted me to be there. You don't have this problem. You have incredible people that work with you. But like my biggest challenge, obviously, was, kind of snakes in the grass that worked with me. So that's a very common thing with like hairstylists. I hear it from makeup artists. I hear it from law firms. I hear it from agents, managers. So how have you guys been so blessed to have incredible people that can sort of execute on the Home Edit vision and dream?
Initially, hiring was the scariest thing we could ever think about.
Of course.
And because, number one, it's crazy to think about replicating your skills and yourself and your work ethic. Like, you know how you work. So initially, I would say we scored the biggest score of our life because we got Sumner and that she was our first employee. So she set the path of hiring other people.
Amazing.
It never got easier to let that control go. Wow. But what we learned really quickly was, number one, people are really talented and good at what they do. And we can teach them everything other than the passion.
Sure.
As long as someone kind of has that drive and that passion and that work ethic, we can teach them the organizing. So again, it's like figuring out the type of people you want to hire. And I won't say that every situation has worked out perfectly. And there are definitely people who used to work for us who now have organizing companies. Just like there are people who work for you that ended up becoming stylists. And I think that in some ways, it kind of is like launching other organizing companies in general. Like, you just have to take a deep breath and steel yourself in your own confidence that you are really good at what you do and that everyone who works for you is really good at what they do. And you have to trust to a certain extent or like you'll never grow.
It's
like
true.
we would never grow if we didn't trust our team.
We would have never grown. We could never be where we are today if we didn't trust people.
So, Joanna, I'm curious, I'm sure you have other things to add to that. What is your take?
No, I would agree completely. I think it was really hard in the beginning. I mean, it's why I didn't want a business partner. It was the same reason. I'm like, why would I ever want someone to be in this world with me when I only can count on myself?
Sure.
And so, but, then I sort of had the epiphany that it's like, wow, if you meet the right person, this can be 1 billion times better than what I could have ever dreamed of.
Sure.
And so, to Clea's point, we hired Sumner, who was like, it was like birthing the first best child you could ever dream of. So it's like,
you're so lucky.
And so she sort of paved the way that like, other people can absolutely do this and do this well. And in order for us to continue to grow, we have to trust.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we were only going to get in our own way if we didn't do that.
No, 100%. And here's the thing, takeaway for that, I want to say to anyone like building a business of anything of this nature where you have to hire in order to grow, you have to. It's never about how you leave. It's never about leaving. It's about how you leave. That's the thing. Like all of us want everyone to live their best life and be their most successful, amazing selves.
Yeah.
But it's how you do it that matters. And that is really, for me, the biggest lesson that I try to teach kind of 20-somethings now starting out in their lives is like, just be straight. Just be straight. Be professional. Be kind. And you will never trip over yourself. That's it.
You won't.
It's actually so true. It's so true.
That's the thing is because we'd never want to stand in the way from someone of pursuing their own.
Of course not. You don't expect people to work for you for the rest of their lives.
Right.
It's interesting because, it's very, for me to watch you guys grow to where you are now, I think I always am like, and you have very big personal lives and very big family lives. And so I think it's important to do that. What's next for Home Edit? Are there obvious dreams ahead?
Yeah, well, we got acquired by Hello Sunshine, Reese Witherspoon's company, in February. And Hello Sunshine is an unbelievable partner for us. I mean, they're allowing us to continue to grow the Home Edit in all the ways that, amplify all the things that we were already doing with their support. It's a dream.
It is a dream. And one of the dreams that we're going to be living out this year is a lot of stuff that we had to shelve last year. I physically couldn't do it, but that meant we physically couldn't do it. So we're going to be just, coming up on this year, we're going to be on the road a lot. I can say that. We have a few projects that are going to become public projects this year. We're still recording our podcast. And so again, we have a lot of like media things. And when I say media, we have, our books, TV, podcasts, all of that. And we're really excited to be in person and live again, which we kind of haven't been since 2019. So we're really excited that we get to do these things and be with people again. So I think that to me, and you know how I am, I love being with people. So to me, that's like the most energizing.
And I love being with Clea. So it all works out.
I'm just excited. Honestly, at this point, the thought of traveling for work, nothing sounds better.
Right.
Nothing sounds better. But I was like recounting all of my favorite last moments of 2021. So this was in 22. But I was like thinking about all of like the last trips we went on. Like we were in DC during the holidays. I was like, Joanna and I have had so many good trips.
You guys are literally the cutest, which is why I love your podcast called Best Friend Energy, because it's like that's really what it is. And like,
we bring it.
I really have that with my sister, but like, it's so great that you guys have each other. It's so amazing that you built the home edit. I know you're like really big and fancy now, but I really need you to come live with me for a week. So please,
100%.
I'm dying here. I'm dying. I can't find anything. I don't know where anything is, and I need to get rid of 50% of it.
We'll be there, Rachel.
I know I just said that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to.
I know we already know. We didn't even listen to get rid of stuff. Like we already know that. The crazy thing is we've organized different homes, different closets. I feel like I know your inventory so well.
Good. So you can just place it wherever you want.
I really I feel like I know it. Like I even know like which things are priorities, which things we could have on higher shelf. Like I feel like I really know it.
You do.
Yeah. So we could probably we could probably do it quickly.
But I really just want to say that I love everything you guys do. I'm so excited to see like what I feel like you have like another 1,000 things that are about to happen. And I'm so excited. I think it's a really great career path for a lot of women that I hear from in person or on my social media. Like, I think that's this sort of really big lesson that I think is really important to learn from you guys and what you do and live in the like home edit state of mind,
And I know. And I feel like Joanna and I could take a page out of your book and live in a slightly more glamorous state of mind. But we live in an organized state of mind.
That would involve me getting dressed every day. But
I'm like, you know what? Rachel like checks that. Like, I'm like, I think of her glamorous. Okay. Joanna and I are never going to be. I'm just excited when I put jeans on. I barely see you in jeans. But I'm like,
she doesn't wear jeans.
No, she does. She has some.
I wear a polished denim. I'll do a polished flare.
Thinking about you in sneakers and a boyfriend.
It's like a disaster. Okay, love you both so much.
Love you so
Rachel.
Much.
Okay, it's that time in the show when I answer 2 listener questions. So let's see what we have today. I have no clue what to wear to my friend's winter wedding. It's not black tie, but it's cocktail attire. It's funny. People get really confused when it's not black tie, myself included, because I kind of only know how to do black tie. My favorite thing for a winter wedding, because it's so seasonal, is to wear velvet. I love a great velvet cocktail dress. I love a really beautiful, sexy black like tuxedo or black suit that you can wear with like a little lace camisole underneath. Those would definitely be 2 of my favorite things to wear. But I think I think it's a great opportunity to wear that really special dress that didn't feel like a gown, but that you love. And I think all the things that you don't get to wear for half the year is what you should wear in winter. But even my wedding was in February in New York City, and I put all of my bridesmaids in black velvet. So definitely my favorite. Okay, my son is 12 going on 18, and we don't allow social media yet. Do you allow your boys to be on social media, and what age will you let them start? Okay, this is a really, really important question, and one that I contemplate all the time as well and talk to my friends about. About 2 years ago, I felt like, okay, when he's 11, I'll let him be on it and just keep it private. And then this year, having Sky in 6th grade, sort of having friends in his grade that already had bad experiences because of social media and feelings hurt and getting depressed and all that. And I saw, oh my God, in the shortest time with the sweetest kids, I have seen the impact of what this can do. And so Sky is turning 12. He may not have social media yet. And I think that I'm going to make a sort of real-time decision on when he can have it, because it's not him that I'm worried about. I'm worried about everyone else, and I'm worried what he'll have access to see. And I'm worried about people having access to him, quite frankly. And I think that we've now seen, and it came out recently on CNN, that social media under the age of 13 and even at 13 is just simply too young. It's just so detrimental. And they're really showing such an insane increase in anxiety, depression, suicide, all of that. And it's like, I think about how hard it was to be a teenager when I was a teenager with like no cell phones or anything like that. If I had social media, right, like as a teenager, I cannot wrap my head around the emotional roller coaster and pain with the mean girling and the boyfriends and the not being included. And my advice, and again, just my opinion, keep it away as long as you can. And when you allow it, have it be private and be linked to it so you can watch it, monitor it, and control it until they're 18 and they can make their own decisions. Honestly, that's my plan and I'm sticking to it. Okay, don't forget to submit your questions for next week's episode. All you have to do is DM us your questions to @ClimbingInHeelsPod on Instagram, and I might just answer your question. These two are such a breath of fresh air. I mean, they're just two of the hardest working, beyond hilarious women. Every time I talk to Clea and Joanna, I can't stop laughing because the way that they really are like an old married couple that have been together for like 70 years. That's kind of like how their vibe is. And also they're so professional. They work so hard. I think they are just such a good example of how to follow your dream and also inspire others, and that positive female energy. And it's just so refreshing. And that was a fun one. I really love that. Thank you so much for listening to Climbing in Heels. Don't forget to write a review wherever you get your podcasts. And while you're at it, follow me on @RachelZoe and @ClimbingInHeelsPod on Instagram for more updates on upcoming guests, episodes, and all things Curator.
There's no distance too far for the perfect trip.
Hi, checking in for...
Or the perfect table.
Hey, where are you?
Coming! And when you get access to Resi Priority Notify with your Amex Platinum card...
Hey, this looks amazing! I'm so glad you made it.
And travel benefits at fine hotels and resorts booked through Amex Travel, it's worth the trip. That's the powerful backing of American Express. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/withAmex.
You know that feeling when you walk into your home, take a deep breath, and feel new? Well, that's what it's like to use Clorox Scentiva. Because Clorox Scentiva smells like coconut, cleans like Clorox, and feels like energy. It'll elevate any cleaning routine to not just clean, but also make every room smell like a tropical coconut getaway. Discover how Clorox Scentiva's powerful clean and refreshing scents can transform your space. Get yours in coconut or other fabulous scents at a nearby retail store.
Whether it's game day, movie night, or just a busy day, it's always time for Papa Murphy's. And now you can get any medium two-topping pizza for just $6.99. That's right. The whole family can get exactly what they want any day of the week for any occasion. Any toppings, any sauce, only $6.99. Now that's meaty yum. If only everything else in life was like our deal. Order any medium two-topping pizza for just $6.99 at papamurphys.com.